out in the garden to talk about my favorite flower, the sunflower. When to harvest, how to harvest, and then what to do with them once you do harvest. We're gonna make ranch flavored roasted sunflower seeds and a lovely herbal tea that you can drink through the winter. So let's do this. Who doesn't love a sunflower? Not only are they spectacular, that's my rooster. Not only are they spectacular, but they also feed us. And bees absolutely love them. So they'll bring in pollinators for the rest of your garden, which is always super helpful as a whole. Each seed is attached to its own little flower, and each of those little flowers needs to be pollinated in order to produce a seed within that shell. So you definitely don't want to pick them too early. Today, I'm going to show you the tips and tricks of when to know it's time to harvest. So basically, what we are doing is looking at our sunflower, looking at the petals to see if most of them are dried and are dropping off, and then we're going to look at the back of them to see if it's starting to turn yellow, and those are good indications that it is indeed time to harvest. And in gardening, as with the rest of life, there's more than one way to skin a cat, and so you can use something like this organza bag, and you can leave the sunflower right up on its stalk and cover it with one of these. I'll link these. I got these off of Amazon. This one's a little small for this head, I think. It might fit, it might be a little tight, but that's not what we're gonna do. But you can, and they have these nifty little drawstrings, so you can put it around the top and draw it tight and let it dry right on the stalk, which would be good, and that way the birds and critters don't get it. Another way is just to cut it down at the stalk right about here or so, a foot off, and you can remove the leaves, and then you can tie it upside down in your barn, garage, basement, whatever, and it will dry. And I would recommend putting a brown paper grocery bag or one of these organza bags over it to collect the seeds, but that's not absolutely necessary. But the method we're going to do today is use our lobbers, and I'm just going to cut it with the lobbers right about here, and just to get it down, and then I'm going to cut it right at the head and let it dry on my porch. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and harvest whatever little yellow flowers are still on the sunflower by gently scraping them onto a plate and allowing them to air dry. So we'll leave our flowers to dry until we're ready to make tea, and after 4 or 5 days, we're left with these nice striped sunflower seeds. If the seeds are properly dried, they're going to come out very easily just by gently scraping them. Before we get into making the brine to roast our sunflowers with and then the tea, if you're new here, please consider subscribing and click the bell notification so that you don't miss anything. Just to show you, this is my largest sunflower head. The Yorkie So-So is for scale. So I've had here some sunflower seeds that I already harvested just for demonstration purposes. I'm just using this old bucket, cup of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan, that's just because that's what I have, but regular table salt is fine. And dumping that in there with about 1 gallon of water. I'm gonna give it a good mix. I'm just gonna use this bowl because it's about the right size, and I'm just gonna set it on there so most of the sunflower seeds are weighed down. And then I'm gonna let it sit for 24 hours. Then we're going to slop those seeds into our strainer, losing as many as possible because we just are that careless, until we get the water off. I think it's hilarious that I lose all those seeds down the sink, but I go after that single one on the side. After that, we're just going to pour the sunflower seeds onto something that they can dry on and spread them out onto a nice thin layer. And then we'll let this sit out in the sun for a few hours until they dry. Once our sunflowers are dry, we are going to hit roast and set it for 400 degrees and put them in the oven for about 10 minutes. We'll mix at the 5-minute mark. So once your sunflower seeds are cool, you're going to put them in a Ziploc bag with about a tablespoon of oil of your choice and some ranch seasoning to taste, and just give it a good shake. Besides making roasted sunflower seeds and sunflower tea, we're not going to cover this here, but you can also make sunflower jelly and a flour out of the stalk of sunflowers. Have you heard of other uses for sunflowers that I haven't mentioned here? Leave me a comment below. Maybe we'll even make a video about it. You can use your sunflowers either dry or fresh. I think they taste a little better fresh, but you can dry them just like you would any herb and put them up. And then whatever sweetener you like. I like honey for its medicinal, and I also like the taste of it. And I put it right in the hot liquid so it really has a chance to melt. Then we're going to get whatever tea infuser mesh ball that you're going to use. And if you don't have one, I'll go ahead and find one inexpensive on Amazon and link it below. And then we're going to fill that up, and we're going to steep the tea for about 3 to 5 minutes. After 3 to 5 minutes of steeping our sunflower tea, it is ready to drink. Let's give it a taste and see what we think. Now the sunflower tea is good just by itself. It's very mild, kind of like chamomile. So if you want to add other flavors, lemon balm, lemon thyme, lemon verbena, mint, chamomile, ginger would all be really good additions to it, but it's a good mild tea just by itself. So there you have it. I hope you learned something new today. If you did, give us a thumbs up. Thanks for watching.